Hello. Today we are going to talk about a case law called Keshavananda Bharati vs. State of Kerala. First of all, it is important to know about certain amendments in order to grasp this case properly. So, let's begin. Related amendments. 24th Amendment. Amended Article 13. Clarified that Parliament's power to amend the Constitution includes the power to amend the fundamental rights. Amended Article 368. Simplified the amendment process by removing the requirement of ratification by half of the states. Article 13 Clause 4 and Article 368 Clause 3 of the Constitution were inserted through the 24th Amendment. Article 13 Clause 4 says, "Nothing in this article shall apply to any amendment of this Constitution made under Article 368. 25th Amendment. Amended Article 31. Restricted the right to property by eliminating the obligation to provide compensation for acquisition of property by the state. Amended Article 31A. Expanded the scope of laws that cannot be challenged in court for violating fundamental rights. Amended Article 31B. Validated certain laws and regulations related to land reform. Curtailed the fundamental right to property, Article 19 Clause 1 Clause F. 29th Amendment. Insertion of Article 31C. Empowered Parliament to enact laws for implementing directive principles of state policy over the fundamental rights. Amended Article 368. Clarified the power of Parliament to amend the Constitution. Facts of the case. The case originated from land reform efforts in Kerala in the 1950s, particularly the Kerala Land Reforms Act of 1963. In 1970, the Kerala government imposed restrictions on land ownership by religious institutions like the Edniya Mutt headed by Keshavananda Bharati. On 21 March 1970, Keshavananda Bharati filed a writ petition in the Supreme Court under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. The petition challenged restrictions on the management of religiously owned property imposed by the Kerala government. Key issues. Validity of the 24th, 25th and 29th constitutional amendments was questioned. Extent of Parliament's power to amend the Constitution was questioned. Whether fundamental rights can be amended. Judgment in this case. The Supreme Court ruled that while Parliament has the power to amend the Constitution under Article 368, however, this power is not absolute and cannot be used to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. 24th Amendment. The court upheld the amendment's validity, which clarified Parliament's power to amend fundamental rights. 25th Amendment. The amendment was also upheld, allowing the government to acquire property without providing compensation, as long as it's for a public purpose. Article 31 talks about compulsory acquisition of property. It protects right to property, allows compulsory acquisition for public purposes, requires fair compensation, limits judicial review of compensation. Supreme Court upheld Article 31. Article 31A. Protects laws related to acquisition of estates, rights, and property. Shields laws from challenges under Articles 14, 19, and 31. Applies to laws aimed at social and economic reforms. The court upheld Article 31A's validity with certain clarifications. The clarifications were: protection of agrarian reforms. Article 31A protects laws aimed at agrarian reforms and social welfare. Limited scope. The article only shields laws from challenges under Articles 14, 19, and 31. Judicial review. Courts can still review laws under Article 31A for procedural fairness and public purpose. Article 31B protects laws listed in the 9th schedule from challenges. Shields laws from being declared void due to inconsistency with Articles 14, 19, or 31. Applies to acts and regulations, not ordinances or notifications. The court upheld Article 31B's validity with certain clarifications. The clarifications were: protection of laws in 9th schedule. Article 31B shields laws listed in the 9th schedule from challenges. Limited scope. Protection only applies to laws listed in the 9th schedule. Judicial review. Courts can still review laws under Article 31B for procedural fairness. Article 31C state. if any law passed or made provides for 1. Acquisition of property by the state for public purpose. 2. Transfer or conversion of property from one person to another. Such law shall not be deemed void or unconstitutional on the ground that it contravenes any of the fundamental rights conferred by Articles 14, 19 or 31. The court held Article 31C partially valid and partially invalid. Valid part. Acquisition of property for public purpose. Invalid part. Transfer or conversion of property. Ousting of judicial review. Reasoning. Valid part. Clause 1. Acquisition for public purpose is reasonable restriction on property rights. Invalid part. Clause 2. Transfer conversion of property without public purpose violates the fundamental rights. Judicial review. Court struck down the implied ousting of judicial review, ensuring courts can examine laws under Article 31C. 29th Amendment. The court validated the amendment, which introduced the Kerala Land Reforms Act into the 9th Schedule, making it immune to judicial review. In essence, the Keshavananda Bharati case established the basic structure doctrine, ensuring Parliament's amending power isn't unlimited and cannot compromise the Constitution's essential features. This doctrine has since been a crucial checkpoint in Indian constitutional law. Basic structure doctrine. The court established that while Parliament has the power to amend any part of the Constitution, it cannot alter its basic structure. This doctrine protects fundamental features such as democracy, secularism, and the rule of law from being amended or abrogated. Judicial review. The ruling reinforced the power of judicial review, asserting that it is an integral part of the Constitution's basic structure.